All right, Tuesday, November 26th. It's a week where we'll all be gobbling soon enough. Busy travel days. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's great to have you back here. Welcome back to the Damon Bruce Show, brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. Today's live stream, as you can see, powered by BetUS as well. Lost $50 on the Chargers last night. I forgot the number one rule of betting on any Harbaugh Bowl is you always take the older brother. So crapped out there. If we come back for more, make sure you're using BetUS, and we'll show you how just a little bit. But it is really good to have you here. And let me just ask you a question. Let's say Kyle Shanahan got locked out of the building. I'm not saying he got fired, but for whatever reason, Kyle Shanahan is no longer available to the 49ers. He takes a sabbatical. He decides to retire. He decides to go walk the earth like Kane in Kung Fu and just get away from football. He's done with the sport for a little while. Kyle Shanahan is gone. This isn't a reflection of Kyle, but he's just gone. What do? Who's the right guy for the job? As you can see by today's thumbnail, I've been thinking about double B's, Bill Belichick. Now, I know that some of you say, no, not Bill Belichick, little bit too old, little too crusty, little too out of style, not interested. There's a lot of young and up-and-coming coaches that you might be interested in, and we'll go through all of that. But look, got Rick Allen saying, nah, no, Bill. If Shanahan leaves, bring back Robert Saleh as a head coach. He'll hire an OC that'll be innovative and can beat press coverage. I'm sure a way that they would figure that out is to watch old Patriots footage, right? See what Bill Belichick used to do that? I mean, here's the deal. I'm not saying Robert Saleh is not an interesting guy or a good coach. He would be. He ain't Bill Belichick. It's just that simple. I've been thinking about it, right? So if the 49ers were suddenly looking for a new head coach, who would you be looking for? What criteria? Before we even say a name, let's just talk about the criteria that I would want checked off by this candidate. I want somebody who's already won it all, which means we are shopping in a very narrow aisle to begin with. There are not a lot of living, breathing, that guy has won a Super Bowl head coaches available. So we're already narrowing the field quite a bit in my first request. I want someone who has been there. This isn't about how to start the journey. This is about how to end it. So I want somebody who has been to the Super Bowl, knocked on the door, and been let in. That's what I want. Someone who's done it. Number two, I want someone who's groomed a successful quarterback. Have you heard of Tom Brady? Bill Belichick, I think he checks that box too. I want someone who's got a keen defensive mind with the confidence to hire the right staff. That's all Bill Belichick has done in his career. He's hired the right people. He's been a defensive genius, even as the days were getting long in New England. They still had a really good defense under Bill Belichick. I want someone who's got something to prove. Guess what? Who would have ever thought that Bill Belichick would fit that criteria? But having been removed from the game for a year, I do think he's got a chip on his shoulder. I do think here's a guy who wants to come back and give the old NFL the old what for after they basically said, no, you can throw him out with yesterday's news. I want a no-nonsense motivated guy who sees special teams as a point of emphasis, not someone who's just like, okay, we'll take whatever we get on special teams. We'll worry about other things. No, I want a head coach who worries about that too. Now, obviously, look, Bill Belichick is going to check an awful lot of boxes. This is what happens when you've won 6 Super Bowls, along with an NFL record, 31 playoff victories. This guy is, coached the single most successful career in the history of football, having been Tom Brady's coach. He was the GM, so he knows how a franchise operates from every conceivable angle of a franchise. He has got arguably the most internal knowledge of the sport of football than any other human being walking the planet. Maybe Nick Saban can sit at a table and talk football with him as thoroughly as Bill Belichick can talk football. But even Nick hasn't had that NFL success. This man is a walking encyclopedia of football knowledge in a way that I don't know if anyone has ever walked around with as much know-how as Bill Belichick actually has. Only George Halas and Don Shula have actually won more games than that guy. A near NFL record 302 regular season wins for Bill Belichick. He's had a great amount of success. I don't think I need to tell you that. Now, I already know what some concerns are, and let's go over those concerns, because as I was thinking about today's show, as I was, Kruger talked about, maybe Kyle steps down at the end of the year. I don't think Kyle's getting fired, but if he were to step down, like, what would the 49ers do? Who would they hire next? Again, Bill Belichick checks every single box I would want in the 49ers' next head coach, with the most important box being this guy has won a Super Bowl. He knows how to. Let me tell you what I don't care about anymore. Don't care about age. I don't care about age. This isn't some 6 to 8 year plan that we're talking about with the San Francisco 49ers. I need the right guy for the next 36 months. That's it. I'm not hiring Bill Belichick under the illusion that he's a long timer. I don't care about long timer. I don't care about a dynasty. I don't care about consecutive seasons. One freaking Super Bowl. That's it. Get in, win it, get out. If that's the way you want to ride off into the sunset, I would not care. I am not in this to repeat, to three-peat, to have a dynasty. One fucking Super Bowl is the only conversation I want to have right now. Bill Belichick go win a Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers. In the next 3 years, you're going to have an awful lot of turnover here in terms of a roster that gives you a little time to flip it on over and see what you got with all the talent that is young on this team remaining right now. So I don't care that Bill Belichick is 72 years old. He's not going to have this job for 5 years. This is a 3-year job. I don't care that he's 72. And if you did care that he was 72, why would you care about that? The same way that I think everyone was really concerned about Joe Biden's age after that first debate. It's like, oh man, the old man smell is just wafting off this guy. Have you watched Bill Belichick this year? This dude is reborn. What a great personality he has. What a storyteller he is. If you see him with Pat McAfee, he's funny. He is beyond the concept of alert by saying, he's still really alert. That's condescending. He's so alert. He's smarter than me or you. Bill Belichick is like Johnny on the spot. Absolutely still got a young man's mind about him, and you can tell by the way he goes back and forth with Pat McAfee and the Mannings and the Manning cast, the NFL, inside the NFL film breakdown segments that he does. He's talking to Ryan Clark and a room full of younger guys, and he's not out of sync in terms of how to talk to younger guys or anything like that. If you're concerned about Bill Belichick, well, he's so gruff and grisly. I don't think I really like him. I actually think that he is going to be better with the media this time around, although that is among the things that I also do not care about. When you have a level of on-field success that is as overwhelming as Bill Belichick has had, I don't give a shit whether or not you're nice to anybody in the press conference or interesting at the lectern or just want to drone on in a monotone voice and say as little as possible to give the opponent as little as possible, to give the media as little as possible, to shake off as much attention as humanly possible. It benefited the New England Patriots throughout the entire dynasty, the way Bill Belichick dealt with the media. The media might not liked it, but it was good for the team. And I actually think, having been now a member of the media, a high-profile media member, a kinder, softer with the media, Bill Belichick, that might be too much of a sell, but understands how the other side operates a little bit more. I bet you Bill Belichick is a little bit more hands-on friendly. Not that that matters in a football coach, but I bet you he is, should he be back in the NFL. I think he's 1,000 times more media savvy now than he was his last day he coached football. And again, you're saying, well, what about Mike Vrabel? Again, that's Bill Belichick light. I would be interested in a guy like Mike Vrabel. I would be interested in Robert Saleh. I'd be interested in a handful of young, up-and-coming coordinators whose names you would hear attached to any NFL opening. if Bill Belichick were not available. I just don't think that the 49ers need to bring in a rookie or first-time coach. Not at all. They need someone who has done it. Ricardo is saying, Damon, Belichick, do we not remember his record last year in New England? First of all, you guys don't even remember Kyle Shanahan's last record, which was good enough to have them in the Super Bowl. If Kyle Shanahan's last year in the Super Bowl isn't good enough for you, you're pretty hard to please as a fan. And I do remember Bill Belichick's last year in New England. And I remember all subsequent years after him. They have stunk. They had a bad team. Still had a really good defense, though, and that's what Bill Belichick coached. It's not like Bill was the problem. That was a team whose entire competitive life cycle had spun around the sun twice, and good things come to an end. Old schemes in an innovative time with the NFL. Brother, old continues to work in the NFL. I thought the problem with Kyle Shanahan was how predictable and old his schemes were. Bill Belichick, there ain't nothing old about the football he plays. If he's got the right team, he will fuck you up. He will fuck you up with the right team 9 out of 10 times. And the bigger the games get, the better chances are he wins it. That's the kind of guy I would be looking at to replace Kyle Shanahan. I do remember the last season in New England. I remember the season. How about this? Without Tom Brady, Bill Belichick didn't have nearly his success, which should end the debate once and for all. So right now, Andy Reid is like the 4th winningest head coach in NFL history. If Patrick Mahomes were abducted by aliens today, watch the Kansas City Chiefs sort of roll backwards fast. When you lose one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, you will have a worse football team. I don't care how your coach remains. Ooh, by the way, sip of the day right there. That was perfect. Erwin saying smash that like button, that subscribe button like you did your remote on Sunday. Yeah, pretend you're angry and you're looking for a flip back. Iceman 0072 says, would also love that hire, but I feel like he seems to respect the Shanahan family a lot, where he probably doesn't want to do them like that. Well, like I said, this has got nothing to do with Kyle or how he vanished or exited stage left, but you now need a new head coach. Who would you get? How Kyle left is not part of this video, this live stream. Whatever separates Kyle from the Niners, this has got nothing to do with that. And I don't think Bill Belichick is so enamored with past, relationships that he wouldn't be interested in an opportunity. He seems to be pointed in the direction of, I want back in football. And I know that there's already been a lot of talk about him being connected to maybe the Jacksonville Jaguars. And man, even yesterday on Wake Up, and by the way, join us for Wake Up at 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning, West Coast. We were talking about this with Kruger, and he's like, Doug Peterson could be the next guy. He's won a Super Bowl. Doug Peterson, okay, no thanks. I'm really not interested. I'm certainly not interested in Rex Ryan, who's a good coach, but a little too cutesy for me. Cliff Kingsbury, there's a guy with a lot of success as an OC now in DC. But no, again, I can have a guy who might one day or a guy who has many, many times. I'll take the guy who has many, many times over the guy who has not done it yet. And that means, what? Look, Ben Johnson right now in Detroit is going to be the number 1 young name off the board for a next head coaching opening. But to me, he's just still not experienced enough to take over the 49ers. I need someone who's done it before. I don't need someone who's going to try out their luck as an NFL head coach as much as because he's an established NFL coach, he's going to change the luck of the 49ers. That's what I'm looking for. Somebody who has done it. That's what I'm looking for. Chargers defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, Baltimore offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. These guys are interesting for sure. And if I were looking to restart, maybe. The 49ers are not looking for a massive reset or a restart. They're looking for somebody to take over the reins in the middle of the race and finally get them across the checkered line in first place. Ron Rivera, he made it to a Super Bowl. No fucking Ron Rivera. Come on, Alexander Boy Entertainment. Do you think Ron Rivera and Bill Belichick are in the same conversation as coaching acumens? I mean, Ron Rivera is never even made it off the JV coaching conversation compared to the varsity that is Bill Belichick. Come on. Ron Rivera. Holy shit. What's the Death Star need? Darth Vader. Go get me Darth Vader. I don't think Kyle's going anywhere, by the way. I don't think Kyle is going to step aside. I don't think Kyle is going to break away. I don't think Kyle is going to get fired. I don't think Kyle is going to be anything but the 49ers head coach for the next multiple handfuls of seasons. I don't think he's going anywhere. But if he were unavailable, I would back up the Brinks truck for Bill Belichick and just say, look, man, you got 3-4 years. Come and get it done. That's the way I would go. Rockin' new era. Hey, bring back Jim Tom Sula or Tom Jim Sula or Tom Jim Sula or Jim Tom Sula or Sula Tom Jim or Bobby Tom Jim or Tommy Joe Bob Sula. Bring them all back. Fuck it. Joe Mazzulla. We need Joe Mazzulla. Jason PDSI. Yeah, bring him in. Boston Celtics. Hey, he's from New England, just like Bill Belichick, right? Kind of the same guy. Greg says, bring back Joan in accounting. Greg, she's still there. You don't operate without Joan in accounting. Come on. Apparently, one guy that the 49ers are not going to be able to hire is Mike McCarthy. Jerry Jones was on his weekly Dallas radio show today, and he's talking about how his 4-7 team just snapped a 5-game losing streak, big win over the Commanders, and that was a hell of an entertaining game. What a finish that was in D.C. It really was good. And here's what the Cowboys got in front of them. They got the 2-9 Giants coming up on Thanksgiving. Then they got the Bengals, who are 4-7. Then they got the Carolina Panthers, who are 3-8. So Jera is talking about how the season ain't over yet, and Mike McCarthy, he might get an extension. Okay. Do it. I'm going to tell you right now, when every one of your division opponents gets excited about you extending a coach, that means you probably shouldn't do it. But Jerry does a lot of things that probably you shouldn't do. And he's right. Mike McCarthy isn't some bad coach who doesn't know what he's doing, but Cowboys certainly ain't great right now. Not even close. What do we got here? Hold on. Spidey G. I don't want Belichick in SF. Crazy how y'all ungrateful fans want to fire him because Bosa couldn't stop Mahomes on 4th and 1 in the Super Bowl. Again, Spidey G. Listen to the show I'm hosting, not the own one you are watching in your own head. I said Kyle's not going anywhere, but if he were gone, who would you want the next guy to be next year? And my answer to that is Bill Belichick. Hey, what's Mike Nolan up to these days? Sergio, I don't know, but he's probably wearing a Reebok suit. 510 Steve says, Jim Tom Sula equals Ron Jeremy. Probably not where it counts, but a little similar facial features for sure. Coach Hedgehog. See, we don't need that. No one needs that. It's a family show. It's not a family show. By the way, though, you can feed the whole family if you take them to Ike's for lunch today. A sandwich for everyone. That's what Ike's has. Why not go ahead and start with one of these bad boys right here? That's the Damon Bruce. You can have me for lunch today if you order from Ike's. I'm steak sauce. I'm a beer battered onion ring. I'm provolone. I always like to put a little red onion, extra Godfather sauce as well. I don't do the Dutch Crunch. I like mine on a soft roll, but I like it from Ike's, and you will too. And sign up for that Ike's Love Rewards program. You get a free sandwich when you do. You get chips and drinks, eligible for prizes, and a chance to go to a very large football game in New Orleans can be yours when you sign up with the Ike's Love Rewards app. Thanks to our good friends at the Dubliner. Always, we love you, Dubliner. The Dubliner is there, open for you to come on in and enjoy a great Guinness, a great drink, a great sit down, a great place to bring a little lunch, sit down, watch a couple games. Where are you watching the Warriors game tomorrow night? Where are you watching Thursday night football? What are you doing this weekend? Maybe you don't want to sit around and sit at home and watch the 49ers lose in Buffalo by yourself. You want to be around like-minded people, and whatever reason you can't make it to our watch party on Sunday night, go to the Dubliner West portal. Tell Kenny and John we said hello. They love hearing that. Thanks to them for supporting this channel. And I'm out $50 because, again, I forgot the number one rule of the Harbaugh Bowl, which is always bet on John, not on Jim. I took the Chargers and the points, and early on in that game, I felt pretty damn good about it. But then the Baltimore Ravens happened. Use promo code YouTube150 when you sign up for BetUS, where the game begins. 150% sign-up bonus when you use the promo code YouTube150 on your first deposit up to $2,000. Good luck, and of course, gamble responsibly. Speaking of gambling and being responsible, let's look at some of the raw numbers behind the 49ers' actual playoff chances before losing in Green Bay. As bad as the year had been, as bad as the injury news, and just the whole, if I can quote Steve Kerr, the 49ers connectivity is not exactly what it used to be. In a season that wasn't connecting, in a year that had started kind of on the wrong foot, that really wasn't improving in places it needed to improve. The 49ers, before that game kicked off in Green Bay, were still 14-1 to win the Super Bowl. They've now fallen to 33-1. However, their playoff math is still mathing. It's not great math. These are not great odds, but until the math says this team season is over, I guess technically it ain't over, although our naked eyes are telling us the 49ers are flunking this test massively. Their only realistic path is an NFC West championship, and they're already last in the division, and they're a game down to everyone. So, not only do the 49ers need to control their own destiny by basically winning out in their schedule, they're going to need some help along the way as well, but it's still the math is mathing. If they win in Buffalo, we can lean back into the, all right, how does this happen conversation, but only if they win in Buffalo. They lose in Buffalo, there's no discussion to be had. Look, we've all got our own eyes here. We've all seen this before. We're all adults. We know how this works. This team does officially reek a little bit of a punch-drunk fighter who's just hung around the ring a little too long, and they're slowing down. It caught up with them. I think all these playoff runs, plus all the weirdness of this season, plus a little burnout from Shanahan, plus, just bad omens and weirdness all around the bad vibes Niners. Like it was, we should have seen it coming a little bit more than we actually have. Bad injuries, bad luck, bad special teams, coach just off of his game a little bit, the general wear and tear of deep playoff runs. It all feels like it's come home to roost. The 49ers are getting 7 in Buffalo. 7 in Buffalo. Snow looks like it's in the forecast for Sunday night. So, we'll see. I like the Buffalo Bills to cover that 7. I do. I don't think the Niners are about to shock us all and turn anything around here. But I guess this is where I have to say aloud, crazier things have happened in sports. And indeed, crazier things have happened in sports. That's the sip of the day officially, if we haven't already had one. I can't even remember. Have we had one? That was perfect right there. What about Jim Schwartz, Damon? Is that more to your liking? Nah, not really. Not really. Again, I want someone who has won a Super Bowl as a head coach. So if you're offering me the guy who's done that more than any other head coach in the history of the sport, and he's available, and I was making a coaching change because that's the world I'm now living in because Kyle's not here anymore for whatever reason, again, I would go with Bill Belichick. If you would go in another direction, I don't know who's right. I don't know who's wrong. I'm going to lean into all of that man's experience to hopefully be the thing that closes the gap. You're making too much sense, Steve Michaels. Thank you. Was there a secondary sip of the day? Did we have 2 of them? I couldn't remember if I had the first one or not. Damon, I like the fish coffee mug. It was, just a lot of stickers. A lot of stickers. People are like, how do you drink out of the same filthy mug every day? Well, I bring it upstairs and wash it every day after the show. I hand wash this bad boy. You can't be putting a sticker-laden cup in the dishwasher. They'll all peel off. 510 Steve, speaking of Jim Schwartz, may the Schwartz be with you. Always works. Always works. I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. All right. So what else we got going on here today? One more bit of, I guess, coaching news. This one comes out of college, and we're just going to salute, a guy who we ain't going to see a guy like that no more because guys like that are aging out and guys like that won't be, born into the new world. The University of North Carolina has fired its head football coach, Mack Brown. Brown has been with the Tar Heels twice, 2 stints, wrapped around an incredibly successful stint in Texas where he won the Longhorns' last national championship. He's 73 years old. He's going to be allowed to coach the Tar Heels in the regular season finale against North Carolina State on Saturday. A decision has not been made whether or not he'll be retained because the Tar Heels are bowl eligible. Will he be coaching them in the bowl game? I mean, why not? Let him do that too. He's a true gentleman of the game. Mack Brown really is a true gentleman of the game. They ain't making coaches like Mack Brown anymore. He is the all-time Tar Heels football wins leader. He ranks 8th all-time among NCAA coaches in wins, and he is the only coach with 100-plus wins on 2 different campuses. Mack Brown won 113 games at North Carolina. He won 158 games at Texas. So, truly a legend of the game. Mack Brown, if he is officially coaching his last game on Sunday, cheers, salute, Mack Brown. Did you want a little Warriors talk? Well, I'm going to tell you, make sure you're here this time on Wednesday. A Warriors Wednesday streaming on the Plus and on Golden Days. Our good friend Cyrus Satsis will be joining us at 11 on Wednesdays, West Coast time, of course. And we're going to talk some Warriors tomorrow. They took their worst loss of the year, spitting the bit in the fourth quarter just last night. The Nets scored 41 in the fourth quarter as the Warriors squandered an 18-point lead. They lose back-to-back games for the first time this season. Dude, Dennis Schroeder is a Warriors killer. Like, I don't care who he's playing for. I don't care what team he's on. That guy sees the Warriors on the court, and he turns into a freaking all-star. Dennis Schroeder kills the Warriors. He had 31 last night. The most interesting team, maybe not just in the NBA, but in all of sports. The most interesting team is coming into town on Wednesday night, and they're going to have something for the Warriors. The Oklahoma City Thunder are good. They officially have more young talent than anybody in the NBA. They've got more future first rounders than maybe anybody in sports. I mean, if you could close your eyes and wish to have the future of a single sports franchise, you wouldn't be wrong by wishing upon the Oklahoma City Thunder's future as a franchise. Their collection of young talent right now is the most impressive collection of young talent in basketball. They're going to have the opportunity to collect more young talent with all these first-round picks than any other team in basketball. They have roster flexibility that is the envy of what? Everyone, because they could give you existing players, future picks. There is no trade that they would ever be interested where they couldn't come up with the package to get that trade done. Sam Presti, man, he has done an incredible job with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they're coming here on Wednesday night. I hope Jonathan Kuminga's better. These back-to-back losses have both been games without Jonathan Kuminga available. He's been out with illness. And I think, two of the worst losses of the year in San Antonio and then home last night to the Brooklyn Nets. Why, they don't even have Ben Simmons. These are bad losses. Warriors have had a couple of bad games now, and they got an opponent that'll hopefully get them Johnny on the spot coming on Wednesday night. Plenty to talk about on a Warriors Wednesday here on the Plus with Cyrus coming up at 11 a.m. on Wednesday Pacific time. Of course, 9 a.m. Wednesday Pacific time, we're going to be doing our wake up. Yours truly, Larry Krueger, getting you ready for the 49ers and Bills. And it will be probably about your pregame, because I don't know if Larry and I are going to be working on Friday. We might take the long weekend over the Thanksgiving holiday. And I guess that brings us to me telling you that if you are traveling anywhere for Thanksgiving, you should probably leave now. Biggest travel day in Thanksgiving history is about to happen, according to the Associated Press. A story that I saw this morning says that airports and highways are, always packed for the holidays, and it's going to be more so this year than it was last year, or certainly the years before when COVID was keeping us all separated. Now it's like a game on, right? It's going to be another record day for air travel in the United States, and the highways will be absolutely packed. 80 million Americans will be venturing at least 50 miles from home between today and next Monday. Everybody goes to work Thanksgiving week on that Monday. Then they start schluffing off and thinking about getting out of Dodge on Tuesday, which is today. So the amount of people on the roads, in the airports, going places is extreme. And all I'm going to tell you is that the Transportation Security Administration expects to screen 18.3 million people at U.S. airports in this same stretch. 80 million people traveling, 20 in the air, 60 on the highway. Buckle up, be nice to each other, be patient. No road rage. It's Thanksgiving. Everyone calm down. Good luck. Good luck. Damon, how do they know who's driving? I was never asked. Well, Steve, we know you're not going anywhere. So that's why we didn't ask. I don't know how they come up with these estimates, guesstimates, polls. Smiley Dan says, I thought eggs and milk were so expensive that nobody could survive. Or was that just political theater? No, actually, that's what it's going to be. Wait until tariffs and the largest deportation of all time come and hit your grocery store. Again, you deserve the government you get. You really do, America, you dumb sons of bitches. I'm not going to worry about that shit anymore. I'm all done caring about making your life better. I'm just going to be a selfish fucker and live my life. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We have someone on here making threats about IP addresses and reporting them to the police. We are being spammed. No one gives a shit. I mean, dude, seriously, like, report us to the police. What are you going to say? Interesting things happening on YouTube? Is that illegal? Ricardo Rodriguez comes in with a super saying, if Kyle is gone, I would agree that Belichick, as long as he doesn't have any say in draft picks. Thank you for your content. Here's 5 for the ganja jar. Thank you very much, Ricardo. I do appreciate it. And yeah, I'm going to tell you that, if you spend enough time making draft picks, you're going to blow draft picks. It's just there's nobody bats 1,000. But yeah, I don't think I would want Bill Belichick making the final say on. I just want him coaching the team. And maybe that's what Kyle needs to do too. Just get out of just go coach the team. It feels like Kyle needs to have something taken off of his plate desperately. Damon, are you disappointed the Giants aren't winning the Juan Soto sweepstakes? 82 Atlanta. That sweepstakes? What? Come on. What are you talking about? They're not getting Juan Soto. Why would Juan Soto come here? I think he's going to be a New York Met if he doesn't stay with the Yankees. If he's a Dodger, let's just all agree we're not going to watch baseball anymore. Hey, it's Chef A, Mexico. I don't know what she's talking with Leslie here about something else, but I can tell you this. Chef A, I believe, is the very first person to have purchased any merch from our merch store. Now, for whatever reason, there's a glitch on YouTube, and I can't set it up on YouTube, but if you are interested in Plus merch, it is available on Twitter. For whatever reason, the link is linking to my Twitter page, but we can't set it up to YouTube. Not yet. We're in conjunction here with this website called The Fourth Wall or whatever it is that does the merch. But we're trying to get it set up on YouTube, and it'll hopefully be there for me to tell you all about it in our coming watch party this Sunday night. But if you are interested in merch and you want to start shopping right now, it's pretty simple. We got a mug and 3 t-shirts, black and white, very simple stuff, not a big selection. But for those of you who want merch, it is available to you through my Twitter account. And there you go. By the way, speaking of holiday shopping, see these 2 awesome helmets? Go to greengridiron.com. Use promo code Damon. The link that you need to check out is in the description of this live stream. And you can be ordering helmets, real helmets, like actual real helmets that you could wear in a football game, or replica helmets. These are awesome helmets. You can do customizable helmets. You can do college helmets. It is an incredible bit of merch that they have over at Green Gridiron. Use the link in the description of this video. No one needs another hat. No one needs another jersey. Get a helmet. And you get it at Green Gridiron and use promo code Damon to save money when you check out. Chef A is the shit. End of story. Yes, correct. She's awesome. And she's the first one to step up for a mug. Thank you, Chef A. You ready for a history lesson? You ready? You ready to go? Here we go. Here we go. He passed away in Santa Rosa in 2000, but today would have been Charles Schultz's birthday. Charles Schultz, who gave us Snoopy and Charlie Brown and the entire Peanuts gang, born today in 1922. He passed away in Santa Rosa in 2000, but Charles Schultz was born today. Another heavenly birthday worth noting, born today. In 1939, it would have been Tina Turner's birthday today. Tina Turner would have been another year older today. She passed away, in last May. She died in May of 2023. All I'm going to tell you about Tina Turner is there's nobody who has checked like more boxes of, blues singer, check. Soul singer, check. Rock singer, check. She was awesome. She was fucking awesome. And, there's all of her very famous songs. Go back and when you're done with today's show, I want you to open up the Spotify machine or Apple Music or wherever you get music, and I just want you to listen to Nutbush City Limits. That's it. Nutbush City Limits by Tina Turner. Find me a song that kicks more ass than that song. Nutbush City Limits. Do it. San Bruno Mike. Tina Turner. Timeless. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Happy birthday to the NHL. Professional hockey was born today. It was founded and it featured 4 Canadian teams. And then the first American club, the Boston Bruins, was added to the NHL in 1924. But today is the very first day that the NHL was formed. Today in 1922, archaeologists entered the tomb of King Tut. What is the most important thing that moment gave us? Well, it made archaeology cool as hell, so I guess in a weird way it would eventually give us Indiana Jones. I know that, the artifacts of King Tut have been in museums forever, and, it made us very curious and interested and all of that. But the most important thing that comes out of that moment all the way back in 1922 when archaeologists entered the tomb of King Tut was that had that not happened, we never have gotten King Tut by Steve Martin on Saturday Night Live. Buried with a donkey. Steve Martin, King Tut, Saturday Night Live, still holds up. Incredible skit. Incredible skit. King Tut. Thank you very much, Steve Martin. Today in 1948, the first Polaroid camera ever was sold. An instant camera in 1948. I didn't have to send this film off or go into a dark room. It's just I click and it prints. This must have blown people away in 1948. By the way, I got Jack and Ozzy. They got a little Polaroid camera. These two kids, they love it. They love it. This little instant Polaroid camera, they're fascinated by it. So Polaroid, you're still getting it done. But today in 1948, the first Polaroid camera ever came out, which means tonight in 1948, the first dick pic ever was taken, right? I mean, there's no way that the very first Polaroid had a sunset and a sunrise before some dude was like, I'm taking a picture of my dick with this. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. All the way back in 1948, dudes were definitely thinking with their dicks too. And somebody took a dick pic for the first time ever in 1948 tonight with a Polaroid. But boy, you had to be confident in that pic because if you wanted to send it, you needed to hand deliver it, essentially. So that's when dick pics were sent by real men, hand delivered. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Happy birthday to the dick pic. By the way, there is absolutely, if I were a woman, the last thing I would want would just be like random pictures of dicks coming into my inbox. What guy thought this is going to work? What guy has this worked for? Like what is the single greatest operational dick pics sent to women bedded ratio? What do you think that is? Who's got the greatest dick pic sent to actually had sex ratio? Who has it and what is it? There are a few things we will only know when we, get to heaven and get to ask God what really happened. I'll bring up that dick pic question early. I'm just kidding. I'm not getting into heaven. I'm definitely asking about the dick pic. I don't know who I'm asking. Hopefully I'll be in heaven. My mom is watching. I can already feel her texting me. You're of course going to go to heaven. Thank you, Mom. I love you too. All I can tell you is that they keep it kinky over in Japan. And my man Joji, hey, what about 70s Bush photos? What about them? Legends Pizza, the Duchess. Boy, I hope my mom isn't watching this deep into the show today. This is really not content for her. Damon, the French were taking dick pics in the 1800s. Not with Polaroids, though. It's not like, boom, dick pic, here you go. Like they had to develop those dick pics. But thank you. You are technically correct. Our final note in a Today in History segment, which has officially gone on too long. Today in 1942, we got the premiere of Casablanca. Set in occupied Morocco, the movie taking place during World War II starred Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, who was a dime piece, and Casablanca premiered today in 1942. It's one of the most revered movies in Hollywood history, one of the most quoted movies in Hollywood history, actually misquoted movies in Hollywood history. But there you go. Casablanca, dick pics, Tina Turner, Warriors blown an 18-point lead, and Bill Belichick, all in the same show. Where else on YouTube are you getting that today? Hopefully the answer is nowhere else. That's why you have already hit liked and subscribed to the channel. Again, a Thanksgiving special message from Bain, Sports Bain, will be arriving on Thursday for you. So you've got that to look forward to if you've decided to become a member of the channel. Thanks to everyone who is supporting me by hitting like, hitting subscribe. Thank you for today's super chats. I hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving, but we will have Wednesday for you, a wake up with Larry Krueger starting at 9 a.m. And then, of course, we're going to have Cyrus on talking Warriors on a Warrior Wednesday. That's coming up at 11 a.m. tomorrow. I want you to take care of my sponsor, my man Ike, right here by ordering a sandwich from Ike's today. And if you don't have an Ike's near you, man, I hope one opens near you soon. The ever-expanding eastward empire of Ike's sandwiches will hopefully be coming to you over 100 locations already dotting the West Coast and a few other places. So thanks so much to my man Ike. Thank you to the Dubliner once again, West Portal Dubliner in San Francisco. One of the great bars you will walk into. You walk in, you're just like, yep, it works. It fits. Everything Damon told me that I needed in a bar is waiting for me in here. Thank you, Dubliner. Love you. And one more time, if you like losing $50 on the Harbaugh Bowl like I do, make sure you lose it over at BetUS. And maybe you'll even win a few bets over there, too. When you use promo code YouTube150 to sign up for a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. And that, my good friends, is how you plus. Thank you very much. If you haven't already, hit me with a thumbs up on your way out. That'll make this video carry throughout the day across the algorithm. The algorithm has been winking and smiling at us lately, so thank you so much. It's been one of the most watched weeks in the history of this young channel, thanks to a couple shorts actually taking off like fire. Damon, are we doing Thanksgiving side dish drafts? Maybe tomorrow during the show with Cyrus. We'll get his channel involved in that too. I love that you love that. I totally forgot to do it. Do it for the algo. I can't believe this is my life, True Blue. We're doing it for the algorithm. We're doing it for you. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it well. And hopefully you agree. This show went well today. Keep your dick pics to yourself, but love everybody. And be nice to each other as you're traveling over the Thanksgiving holiday. Steve wants to know, Damon, are you doing a show on Thursday? I will not be doing a show on Thursday. I promised the family it would be a day spent with them and the boys, and I'm going to make a little nice breakfast for the boys, and then we're going to be going off to our Thanksgiving dinner. So, look, not Thursday, but Sports Bane will be sending along a special Thanksgiving message on Thursday that will drop on members at 11 a.m. on Thursday. So you will have a special greeting from Sports Bane, whoever he is, waiting for you on Thursday if you are a member. And, you know, we got to give these members a reason to subscribe other than just it's a great way to support the channel. We'll actually give you some content. It's been a while since Sports Bane has held court. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening on the podcast. Make sure you've downloaded the podcast too, either on YouTube or anywhere you download your podcasts. Thank you so very much. And please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone.